Our report shows that extreme inequality is out of control, that the wealthy and the big corporations are running away with more wealth, while the people at the bottom half of humanity is sinking. Their wealth is reducing. Last year it reduced by 11%. We are also finding that this is the responsibility of governments, that governments are fueling extreme inequality by failing to tax fairly rich companies and rich individuals. We also find that governments, by not taxing the wealthy, are also presiding over collapsing public services, particularly health and education. We find in our report that governments deliberately do not close tax loopholes for the rich. So they don't collect the revenues that could be collected, and they do not channel them into health and education of people in order to lift them out of poverty. So poverty is increasing. Our report says that this is not inevitable, this is not acceptable. There are solutions. The solutions are to tax rich companies, rich individuals, tax wealth, tax property, tax the incomes from wealth, tax financial transactions, and also put that money, plow it back into health and to education. It's not right that today 262 million children are not going to school, that 100 million people will be driven into poverty because they can't afford health care, all because governments are not putting enough money into public services. So tax wealth, put the money into health and education, into social protection. We also find that when governments neglect their responsibility of investing in health and education, it's women and girls that suffer most. We all suffer, but it's women and girls who suffer most. Why? Because it's poor women who depend mostly on public services for maternal health, for caring for the sick, for caring for children. When this is not paid for, they pull out of real work, incomes, and go to spend more time in unpaid care work. But also in many countries, when families can't afford education, it's the girl that is pulled out of school, because then a boy is left in school because there's male privilege. What does that mean? That extreme inequality also widens inequalities between boys and girls.